Hi, hello and welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to another episode in our deep dive into The Gift of Therapy by Yalom. It's a bit of a blessing for you. It's a bit of a torture session for me because I'm actually quite sick. That's why I'm sounding a bit more nasal than normally and speaking kind of hurts my throat. But I want to get some more videos out there. As an additional little blessing for you, ain't that satisfying. My obsidian graph view, Yalom, nice up close and personal in the center. Okay, but that's not what we're here for today. We are here for the gift of therapy. All right. Tip 22. All is grist for the here and now mill. Everything is usable in the here and now is what Yalom is trying to say with that expression. Everything that happens in the here and now is useful in therapy. Sometimes you are better off striking the iron when it's cold though, which is tip 40 in this book, so it's gonna be a couple of videos down the road, but you can use the here and now, but maybe not always in the here and now. Come back to your feedback on your client's deeply emotional crying episode in the next session, but maybe not interrupt their emotional expression while they are doing it just to give your feedback. Tell him you appreciated his openness, but don't interrupt his emotions to tell him that. Effective therapy is about evoking a feeling and then analyzing it and doing that in cycles. But those steps, they can span multiple sessions for sure. When a client asks for a hug, that happens in the here and now, you might even be inclined to agree. That's fine, but maybe come back to it the next session. Why did your client need a hug? And that analysis will then evoke a new feeling in the here and now. You can use again in that session, or maybe in the next session if it evokes too many emotions. My father never hugged me, and they're immediately in their tears, you know? A lot of spontaneous, unpredictable, sometimes crazy things happen in therapy, and you can use all of them as long as you're resourceful enough and as long as you're attentive enough to pay attention to them. Even your mistakes, coming late, planning 2 clients in one time slot, missing an email, wrongful empathic conjectures, they can all be useful in therapy, as long as you know how to work with them, and luckily enough for us, Yalom is trying to tell us how to do that. My own thoughts on the subject. A client I have been seeing for a long time already was once the only time this has ever happened to me, but she was once the victim of double planning. I had an online client in my agenda and I didn't have her actual real life physical session in my agenda, so I didn't walk out into the waiting room and see both of my clients sitting there, so I was not even able to solve the conundrum. What I was doing is I was seeing my online client while that girl was sitting there scared in the waiting room for 40 minutes, and only then did she send me an email, which I saw after my online session. Only then did she send me an email saying, I don't think this is working, I think I'm gonna leave because I think you missed our appointment today. My heart shattered. Because my afternoon was open, I installed a quick impromptu session with her to talk about what had happened, but I didn't have a therapy room. So what did we do? We went for a walk around the nearby abbey, here near where I live and near my work. A valuable session for sure. I still bring up her flexibility and her forgivingness that day as something that greatly impacted me. I also brought her cookies as consolidation. I guess that kind of evoked her forgiving nature maybe. And what I remember vividly is that we spent a lot of time in that session talking about what it felt like for her in the here and now back then to wait in that waiting room, to see the minutes strike past on her clock and not seeing the door to my therapy room open. And she was just sitting there getting anxious, thinking like, should I leave? Should I stay? Do I mail him? Do I text him? Do I knock on the door? What's happening? Has he forgotten about me? She felt deeply hurt. And even the couple of sessions after that, she reported feeling scared coming back to the group practice, scared that again the door to my therapy room would not open again. We worked it through together, but only by being attentive to what happened in the here and now and talking about it immediately. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.